public service announcement. I need all my Titan fans to come on down. Grab you some popcorn, grab you a drink. Titans Colosseum in the building. Yeah, not, boy, I'm in the game. Still ballin' out, never change. I be rapping my hometown for the whole city, really knew my name. Boss talk, I don't do favors. Yeah, we signing deals with the top players. We just started this lifestyle. We be having all kind of haters. I'm a madman, they better come get me. Wanna box me in, but I'm too shifty. If they come at me sideways, I'ma stiff on me like Derrick Henry. Now listen, we're not the same. EA Sports, boy, I'm in the game. I be rapping my city, dog. Got a Titan logo hanging on the chain. Big money, big moves. New stadium on the way. Nashville, we hold it down. We the one team that you don't wanna play. They be trying to talk down on us. I just laugh at them and I walk away. I don't tolerate disrespect. Might shoot a fade, penny hard away. Big money, big moves. New stadium on the way. Nashville, we hold it down. We the one team that you don't wanna play. We be putting in the hard work, so we coming in with all kind of skill. I be living in the end zone. My finger roll like Tannehill. What's poppin'?
Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to the Titans Colosseum podcast, man. Hey, fellas, how y'all feeling today? We gonna start it off with Firestone down there.
Man, feeling good. Ready to get into some talk, to some business. We got some coach candidates in our line now, so at least we can see what direction we kind of heading, man. So I'm ready to talk some two-tone business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. RJ, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. You know, like Firestone said, here to talk about some coaches, man. And we coming up. I'm coming up with some notes, some facts on Firestone today, man. You got to defend your boy. You got to defend your boy today, man.
Firestone got them appeal papers ready for you, man. So hey, we know we finna get some good talk. But hey, y'all can see we got some very, very, very special guests in the building. It's been a long time coming. Been waiting to get these guys in the Coliseum to chop it up with us. Y'all can check them out on their podcast, Titans Global Podcast. Man, they two of the dopest individuals I know. They passionate as hell about the Titans. They talk to and don't give a damn what you think. Y'all give it up for Max and Leak in the building.
Heck yeah.
What's up, fellas?
Absolutely. Hey, dreams come true, man. Good to be here. Big fan of your guys' show. Been waiting a long time for this, so I'm excited. Let's talk some two-tone blue.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know that's what we gonna do. And man, you already know, man. Max, how you feeling up over there, man? We need to hear from you.
Man, I feel excited actually, man. To be honest, I'm really pumped up now that I see everything coming out. But yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, man, there's plenty of business to get to, man. But hey, we can't go without shouting out our people in the chat. They the ones who turn this show up, man. Shout out to D, man. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Julie, Raymond, Corey, and Angelica, D Majors, Angela, Joshua, Melinda. Man, we got Hill in the building. We got Sean, man. We turned up in here. I know I couldn't hit all them comments, but hey, y'all appreciate y'all joining us. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about us, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and the third. Fellas, y'all ready to get to this two-tone business?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Hey, Firestone, let's talk to him about them sponsors, man, because you know I can't say Line D and Beard Collection.com. I said it right. I said it right.
Hey, you finally got it. But
yeah, but I'm gonna let you talk to him since you the one with the beard. God dang it, you know my beard is nappy. Your shit, god dang it, it's all straight like he got a perm in it and shit.
Can't tell me my beard ain't luxurious when you know that it is.
Oh my goodness.
But this episode is brought to you by LionsDenBeardCollection.com. You want all the luxurious products to get your beard in a tip-top shape, or if you're starting your beard and you need a little help with the boost, make sure you go LionsDenBeardCollection.com. Use promo code Colosseum, get 25% off your order. Also, this episode is brought to you by SunnySmilesCoffee.com, the premium, freshest roasted coffee that you will ever find, that you will get. And currently they are having free shipping on all U.S. orders. All the flavors are natural. So make sure y'all go check out sunnysmiles.com, get you some fresh coffee and free shipping on top of your order as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With that being said, man, let's go ahead and get to this business, man, because it's been a wild week, as you know. I mean, I ain't even got to say it, but the week, I mean, it has gotten even wilder as an article came out with the Athletic about, pretty much, how things went down, how we got to the point where we're at now. And we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna chop it up about everything, most definitely. Oh man. I was waiting on my woo.
My bad, I didn't forget the audio sounds on them. I just realized I was like, damn, I forgot my audio effects on it.
Yeah, I was waiting on it too. I was like, dang, they ain't no whoop.
That's what
It just didn't feel right, man.
I forgot the sound effects. The other ones ain't got the sound effects either, but okay. Go ahead.
It didn't feel fulfilling. So y'all just gonna have to bear with us
right.
tonight. Maybe we can get a little artificial woo chords for you or something.
See what happens in the mean process of us talking. We'll see.
Right.
Drag out.
Right. Hey, but yeah, man, let's go ahead and get to this business, man. As y'all know, the article with the Athletic dropped yesterday, pretty much talking about how things went down, man. And starting off with you, Link, man. Your thoughts on what you read.
Man, what struck me was just the difference of direction that it felt like these two parties wanted to go. It just seemed like this team was kind of ready to take the next step with Amy Adams-Strunk just wanting to kind of transition to more of a new age offense. And it felt like Vrabel still had that old school mindset to me. That's one thing that struck me. The other thing that got me was how when the John Robinson firing happened and they were looking for that GM, it just felt like Vrabel didn't think that Carthon was ready for that GM role. And I don't know why exactly his thoughts were on that. I feel like he kind of wanted to keep it in-house with Cowden coming in. I think that was his goal for things. And Amy she wasn't going to hire John Robinson's number 2. And I think that was the first thing that really started to cause that rift. And then when Carthon came in, it just seemed like him and Vrabel, they couldn't get on the same page. They didn't make it public or anything, but you just felt like they had two different directions for this football team. So to me, that was the major thing that stuck out, just not being able to find that right direction. So, and I trust Amy, she's done a lot for this franchise. If you look at the things that she's done and what she's brought to this team, I think that most of them have been good things. And I hate to see Vrabel go. But for me, if I had to take a side on this one, I kind of like Amy's direction. I really do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Link on that, man. I'm 100% agreeing. Like what Amy did, man. I'm so proud of this woman, bro. I don't think y'all understand. I've been out on Brave for about almost 2 years now, man, and I've been saying like, bro, his ego is too much. He's too stubborn. You know what I'm saying? And he kept on doing little things, bro. That was just making me mad. Like the way he do his press conferences, I'm like, bro, like why you gotta be smart with everybody? Why you talking crazy to everybody? Yep. Then you see that he started taking shots at the Titans during the New England Patriots introduction. You see what has he done to get full control of the roster? What has he done as a head coach here to get full control? You ain't won no Super Bowl, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why you want full control of the roster, bro? Like, and it's like, if we don't hire his guy, like all he wants to do is hire the same type of people over and over again. It's insanity, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted to hire another John Robinson. And people keep on blaming John Robinson for this mess that we're in, but he wanted to hire another one. You get what I'm saying? Exactly. He wanted to hire another one, bro. And you know what I'm saying? And then that Texans game, bro. I cannot get over that game because I was there. Like that how loud the crowd was when we was up 13-0, bro. Like there's no way we should have lost that football game, bro. Like it was all dumb Vrabel and Tim Kelly, bro. Like what are you running the ball on first down? Why do you keep doing that over and over again? Like they're insane, bro. And I know Red Carthon was seeing this, bro, and he was in Amy ear, bro. I know he was. He said, bro, we're not gonna win a Super Bowl with this guy, bro. We're not gonna win. We're not gonna get to where we want to get to with this guy. And I've been preaching this. I've been telling everybody this, everybody in this chat this. You know what I'm saying? And now people are starting to see what I already saw. Like,
I think my thing is not only did Vrabel want to bring in his guys, it almost seems like he wanted yes men. He wanted guys to say, you're right, you have the right direction, you're doing the right thing. He didn't want to bring somebody in. And I think he's a little bit like Belichick in that way, where he wants to bring people in that are just going to support him through thick and thin and are just going to say, yeah, I trust you, you're doing the right thing. And Amy's not going to have that. And she wants people that are going to challenge her. And I think that's why Carthon inevitably got the job.
Facts. Man, I'll speak my piece on it real quick. A couple of things stood out to me that were interesting. It mentioned in the article that she actually thought about letting him go last year, which in my opinion, I would have been more on the side of I think she's making a mistake because of the timing and the situation, because that's when the injury thing hit, and we was on this losing streak, and you can only go so long with having that many injuries before it really just affects the team in a negative way. But at the same time, I look at it like this right here. Amy has always wanted to evolve with today's NFL. See, a lot of people thinking she just got on board with this when she hired Rand Carthon. No, that ain't the case. No, because she brought in Matt LaFleur for a reason. They wanted Matt LaFleur on their staff for a reason. And that reason was to evolve the Titans offense along with all the other teams in the NFL. Now, we know how it went with, LaFleur or whatnot. He had his vision. Mike had his vision. And, Derrick Henry, he just so happened to come alive at that time. So, hey, you gotta roll with the hot hand, man. Give Henry that rock, go and win football games. That was the wave. Okay, so once teams started to catch up with that right there, that was the time to evolve. And I think Amy saw that the whole time. And after Arthur Smith left, Ty Downing came along, and the offense just went downhill from there. So I don't think that this was an emotional decision at all, looking at everything that's out there right now. I mean, them bringing LaFleur in to help, get this thing to a modern day offense. And also, too, what went down with the offense after Arthur Smith left. The offense just didn't start sucking last season when we were going through these injuries. No, the offense sucked as soon as Arthur Smith left the building.
Yep. Preach.
So, okay, my next point. They say that she made an emotional decision, but to me, I feel like an emotional decision would have came after they lost to the Texans, the first game in the Oilers uniforms. That game right there, I believe, sent everybody over the edge. I feel like that was one loss right there no one could forgive. I know myself, I was highly agitated about that loss. It brought back so many bad memories. Just seeing the Texans trout their JV team out there on the field, and we didn't have that many injuries going into the game, if any. I mean, it was a week or so.
It should have been a beatdown, bro.
Yeah, it should have been a beatdown. But we didn't have many injuries. So you had D-Hop out there. You had Levis out there. You had Big Jeff. You had Derrick Henry. You had better players out there than the Texans, and you could not take care of business. You could not pass the ball. You refused to pass the ball on one of the worst passing defenses in the league. You chose to run up into a brick wall and just continuously kept running. And when, the Titans lost their game, I mean, yeah, I know how I felt. So I can only imagine how Amy felt. And y'all know how she feels about losing to that team. It's personal between that team right there. It is nothing but hate. Look at the history of the city of Houston and the Adams family. If she didn't fire Mike Vrabel that day, it definitely wasn't an emotional decision.
Yeah,
they even said, right.
Mm-hmm.
They even said that she was thrilled. She left the game heated in Miami. But then when she found out they won, she was thrilled all over again. We all know that feeling. The Titans, they have you on cloud now 1 minute, and god dang it, in deep hell the next minute. And that following week, they went up there and they went to Houston and got their asses handed to them.
Yep.
And it was right back to, this ain't gonna work. She could have fired them that game, but she didn't. She gave Mike Vrabel a whole season. And that right there pretty much tells me it wasn't an emotional decision. It was a decision that she'd been wanting to make, but she kept giving them chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. And relationships, I mean, they just go sour sometimes. There's, the reality of the situation. But I'm gonna let Firestone speak his piece, and we're gonna play a video here too, because there's some nuggets that TD, and shout out to TD, man. It's great to see Teron Davenport back out here in these Titan streets, man. But we're gonna play a video from TD right after Firestone speak his piece about the situation.
Yeah, no, bro. I think y'all kind of already know where I'm sitting. I'm just trying to figure out what it is, because Amy, bro, I've been a fan since Oilers Day, and I don't know if y'all remember, but she's doing a lot of things that Bud used to do. And I mean, it's out of fucking Bud's playbook, and it's just repetitive, bro. And it's starting to seem like she's just gonna mimic how her dad was acting from the Houston, and just too many things are just seeing that way. And I got a couple clips to talk about that, because of, I think the Adams family just don't like being embarrassed. And there's been a couple of things that have come up that Vrabel's done that kind of embarrassed them. And then there's a clip that I have and Mike Keith and him was talking about that Malarkey did right before he got fired that embarrassed him, and kind of that's what led to it. And they say some things too. So I'm trying to figure out if it's actually Vrabel or if it's actually Amy, because the Adams family and this Titans organization have the tendencies to run smear campaigns as soon as somebody leaves. We've seen it happen to AJ. We've seen this happen to Kevin. We've seen it happen to when Steve and Eddie was leaving. We've seen it when Javon Curse was. This is what they do. When somebody's leaving it, AJ ain't a good teammate. AJ ain't this. Then we're trading AJ the next thing you know about it. If John Robinson was good and that's the GM we want, then you start hearing a smear campaign about J-Rob and the turmoil. They just start to do that and that's what I don't understand. Is it actually the truth, or is it like what so many sports franchises do? Not just football, baseball, and basketball, and all these other sports do it too. As soon as they're ready to do something, they push out a campaign out to the media to see how the fan base is going to react to it. And if they're going to accept that, then they're going to run with it. If not, no, that was just rumors. That was just this and that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Is this truth? Or is just a smear campaign to kind of help get some of these fans to back off and the media to back off after you realize that majority of the people didn't take well to this, including the media. So, but I wanted to ask questions on one video before you play your TD, and it's Mike Lombardi, and he's on a Pat McAfee show, and he has said this about like culture versus ego.
Team turn around towards the tail end of it, which leads to this question from Tone.
Yeah, Lombo, now that Bill is out and Kraft wished him all the best when he's on the sidelines, except for when he's on the sidelines versus the Patriots. So we all took that he is going to continue coaching. Where do you think the best fit for Bill could be?
I think, when he left Cleveland, if you read the book, The Education of a Coach by David Halberstam, there's a quote in there that Halberstam wrote where he said the next job that Bill took when he left Cleveland would be a job that allowed him to build the culture, that allowed him to install his system and the players that fit within the framework of the culture. Now, most people read into that as power hungry, right? Most people say, well, he wants all the power. That's not what they're saying. The same thing, that's not what Jim Harbaugh would want. They're culture hungry. Those coaches need to be able to have the culture that fits their style. They can't have the general manager talking to the team or the owner having a radio show or somebody else having something else with the team. There has to be one voice in the organization that dictates the culture, that creates the direction, that holds the players accountable. And when you look around the NFL, when you don't have that ability, then it's very challenging. Andy Reid, when he left Philadelphia, he went to Kansas City. Clark Hunt still had Scott Pioli as his president, general manager. Andy Reid wanted to have all the control. He wasn't power hungry. He was culture hungry. So then they got rid of Pioli. They gave Andy Reid all the authority. However, he hired then John Dorsey and now Brett Veach to help him and assist him as they both build the culture together. And I think
so man, that's kind of my question. So where do we define the line between ego and somebody that needs to understand that I'm implementing culture? Was this Vrabel's ego, or was this Vrabel not believing that Amy and the franchise was competent to bring him the groceries to cook the meal he was actually trying to cook?
I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let Max speak on it, man. Man, Firestone, it is going to be very, very, very interesting when Mike Vrabel puts his side of the story out there. And you mentioned wanting to get to the truth. You know, in these situations, even in life or whatever, I mean, there's, three sides to every story. There's one side, there's the other side, and then the truth is always in the middle. So, like I said, I'm anxious to see, what Mike Vrabel has to say about all this. But Max, how you feel about, everything that's been going on, man?
Well, first of all, man, your graphic said Amy versus Mike. And in that case, for me, it's real easy. Amy all day long. And the reason is because she's proved herself over time. When she came to our franchise, when she became the owner, it was 2015 in March, I believe. So it was before the 15 season. 4 games into that season, I believe it was, when she fired Wisenhunt and put Malarkey as the coach. Mm-hmm. Malarkey was the coach for 2 years. He improved our team, but he didn't improve it enough. So she fired him and John Robinson and hired, Webster, and hired Robinson, and then fired Malarkey and hired Vrabel. My point is that she continually makes the team better. Even when she realized that Robinson wasn't the greatest pick for her GM, she decided to change that to Rand Carthon. And Rand Carthon is very much new football. She understands that the NFL is completely changing direction. And unfortunately, even though I actually do like Mike Vrabel as our coach, or did like Mike Vrabel as our coach, he is very stubborn. He's very bullheaded. He doesn't want to work with anybody. And you bring up the article about Stillman and Rossini. The thing I took away from that the most was the fact that Mike Vrabel wanted all the control. He wanted the draft, the personnel, everything. And that to me just screams, oh no. Because every time we've seen that, other than Bill Belichick, it has not worked. And really with Bill Belichick, we don't know if it worked. And another thing with Mike Vrabel is, how do we know that, like you said, that I brought up on my show a couple weeks ago, that Arthur Smith and A.J. Brown wasn't his key to success? Because without those two people, he never really had success. He inherited a 9-7 team that was in the playoffs. For 2 years, he went 9-7. with Arthur Smith and A.J. Brown, yeah, they had winning seasons both years. As soon as they left, yeah, they went right back to the doghouse. So for me, I'm riding with Amy all the way, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna go, you know me, I already said Amy, but I think it was Vrabel's ego, man. I think it's ego, bro. Like he like basically like Matt said, bro, he wanted control of everything. Like he wanted personnel, and he wanted to basically be the Titans. We were gonna be the Tennessee Vrabels. So that's exactly what the hell we was about to be. And bro, his hires haven't been good, bro. Like he had back-to-back shitty ass offensive coordinators, bro. Shane Bowen should have been fired by now and moved on. Our strength and conditioning is ass. Like we're the most injured team ever. Like, and then he don't want to make no changes. And you see, Firestone, bro, you be complaining about J-Rob, but he was about to hire another J-Rob. He was gonna. I know you didn't want Ryan Cowden as your GM. I know you didn't want him as your GM, bro. You like Rand more than you like Rand. You like Rand more than you like Ryan Cody.
I know just about as much for both of them, honestly, bro. To be truthful with you, I don't know as much as I know about Rand. The only thing now that I have more over Rand is at least I've seen Rand do a draft. But between them two, I don't know who's better between those two. There's not.
Well, in that article, it even said that Cowden had control over the 2023 draft and then was fired directly after it.
Yes.
And we ran through the picks.
Yep.
There's not one pick on there that I would rather have than the draft that we had.
Yeah. And let me throw this up out there as well, because there was some confusion about that when it came out. He had control of the draft board or whatever. That only means he was moving the draft picks up and down the boards or whatever. It does not mean that, he picked the players himself. I mean, whoever picked the players is who picked the players. Whoever you want to give that credit to, you give it to. But I'm just telling you specifically what Ryan Cowden done during the draft. He was moving players up and down the board. I mean, that's what it was, y'all. But something else I wanted to say as well. Man, this whole thing, man, about, gender or whatever, her gender got something to do with the decision.
Oh man,
don't do that, y'all. Yeah, don't do that, y'all. Like for real. Like we've seen men do some very stupid emotional shit after a football game, sometimes before a football game. So you can disagree with it all you want to, but don't sit up here and put this bullshit up out there about she's just emotional because she's a woman and she needs to be in the kitchen and all this dumb shit. Cut that shit out, y'all.
Yeah, y'all making us look bad for real.
Yeah, man. But Link, got a question for you, man. Because I actually wanted to ask this one Monday night, but I really didn't get around to asking about it or whatnot. But thinking back, and matter of fact, let me play this video and then I'm gonna throw the question out there to you.
Back. Do you remember about 6 weeks ago, I asked Mike Vrabel about control of the locker room? And I didn't ask him whether or not he has it. I said, show me examples of how you do. Because as early as then, there were things in the locker room, right? And I liken it to when the 49ers, before Jim Harbaugh became the coach, right? Mike Singletary came in, a hard-nosed, fact of the matter, this is the way type of mindset. Now, obviously, Mike Vrabel got better results than Mike Singletary. Let's make that clear. But Singletary came in. They won games when he was in the interim. They were competitive the second year. Then the next year, it was just like, wow. And that's when everything sunk in. And that message, right, didn't really sink in as much, right? And then the day-to-day grind and what was being asked, it wasn't as easy to do because you're losing. And when you're losing, you start to microanalyze everything, and then winning it masks so many things. So I think you look at that happened, but then also, just emotions in the building. That's something that I know it wasn't on weeks when they lost. Look, the energy in that building, it started and ended with Mike. It started with Mike Vrabel. It started with him. And I know that on weeks with losses, it was tough for different people in that building. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. And weeks when it wins, it was good. When you're riding that roller coaster, like, you can't do that. You can't have that climbing up the hill and then it's just that drop. You gotta be more consistent, right? And that's something that seemed to be lacking in that building. So there's a lot of stuff that contributed to it. And then not to mention, sometimes relationships they take their course, right? Like it runs its course. And I think that's also what happened, where it ran its course and they just needed something fresh in there.
Yo, shout out to TD, man.
Yeah.
It's great to see him back out here in these Titan streets. But Link, this is what I wanted to ask you. So after that video or whatnot, I mean, you just heard TD say there was some, things going on in the locker room, and then he mentioned that, the message, maybe souring or whatnot. And that got me to thinking about, the Jeff Simmons comments from earlier in the season. When Jeff Simmons said, we need to figure out who wants to be here and who doesn't. And people, they thought he was talking about Terry Tart, Christian Fulton. And, we had Blaine on the show as well. And Blaine brought up the point that, if he really felt like that towards Terry Tart, why didn't he say that to him in the field room? They with each other every day. So it got me to thinking, like, that's a damn good point. So Jeff Simmons was talking to somebody. Mm-hmm. And do you believe that statement that Jeff Simmons made, do you believe that was towards Mike Vrabel?
It's hard to speculate one way or another, but I will say this. For me, Mike Vrabel is an old school guy, and we haven't seen the ability for him to adapt to a new generation of players because this isn't the league that he played in anymore. And I feel like at times it almost seems like Mike Vrabel has played favorites a little bit. And I mean that referring to Tannehill. I mean that referring to Henry. It kind of rubs me that way. And I said on our show before, at some point when you start questioning if he's lost the locker room or not, he's lost the locker room. I mean, it's that simple. If you have to question it, it's over at that point. So I don't know if Simmons was speaking directly about Vrabel, but I don't put it outside the realm of possibility. He still had some support from some guys there, but we saw two players this year basically request a release from this team, and that's a bad sign in itself. And Terry Tart, I don't want to speak to his work ethic. I mean, I'm not at practice every day. I don't know what he was doing, what he wasn't doing, but he was a productive player. I mean, it's hard to argue that he wasn't. So for me, that was a red flag. And then for Jeff Simmons to come out and say that, hindsight's 20/20, but looking back at it now, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. But I kind of want to bounce back a question at you. So out of the guys that have came out and supported him, especially Will Levis being one of those, saying that, he's got a good relationship with him and he felt like he's got good development. Will Levis is a rookie, and I don't think he's the type of person who's going to think it's his place to make a decision when it comes to his own coaching staff at this point in his career. But do you think that was more smoke and mirrors, or do you think Will Levis really did have that comfortability with Mike Vrabel?
That's a good question right there. If one of y'all, RJ Firestone, one of y'all would take those next three comments, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all got us so turned up, man. That gets me so hyped. But if y'all take those comments while I answer that question right there, I cannot, discredit Mike Vrabel when it comes to, how he deals with players on a personal tip because of the simple fact that we know Mike Vrabel is a damn good dude. Outside of football, I mean, he is an A1 dude. I mean, there's, so many stories out there of, Mike Vrabel, getting involved in the community back when we had the tornadoes or whatnot. You remember Mike Vrabel out there picking up sticks. He was, telling people whatever he said, put down your microphone and pick up a stick or something like that or whatever. And like I said, man, I'll never discredit, Mike Vrabel as a person. He's an A1 person. But in that video, just like TD said, I mean, your day-to-day message in the locker room or whatever. I mean, when you get to, losing games, you get to thinking about, certain stuff. And, that message right there, that message that Mike Vrabel puts out there when you losing games, I mean, it is hard to buy into that message. And you know how he is as a coach. He's an old school, no nonsense coach. When he's in coach mode, I mean, he's, in total coach mode or whatnot. And I think in situations, I think, the players during those times needed to hear a message from Mike Vrabel, the person, not the coach. I'll say that much right there.
I agree. Heck yeah. Yeah, and to me, it's and he's real, and I can't take that away from when he got up in the press conference, and Gentry asked him the question of what are we doing, and he basically said it effing sucks to lose. I mean, I feel like that was coming from a real place. But then just to hear some comments from guys that have been in the locker room before that are no longer there, example, Taylor Lewan, I mean, just saying, I feel like he thought the locker room was split 50-50 at times. And Mike Vrabel, because of who he is and because of how real he is, he's a divisive person. And you put that in a locker room and you've got, 52, 53 guys that are on this team, and it's tough because if they're not all on the same page, you're not going to have success. You're not going to be able to mesh well as a team. You're not going to play complementary football, and you're not going to be able to be consistent. And that's the biggest thing that this season lacked, was that consistency. So for me, I feel like he did hold this team back a little bit because of who he is. But credit to him for staying true to that. I mean, you can't take that away from the guy. He's always going to be Mike Vrabel, and I don't think he's ever going to change, whether it's here or somewhere else.
Yeah, and Doc pretty much said something that I totally agree with right here. Players can acknowledge favorable personal relationships and still prefer another coach. Doesn't have to be either or. And I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, there's how view you as a co-worker, or in their case a teammate or a coach, and then there's another way I look at you outside of this shit. What type of person you are. Are you handling your business with your family or whatnot? Are you taking care of the people around you? I mean, for some it's hard to separate that, but for others, I mean, you can definitely, separate the both. You can think a person is awesome, but you can also acknowledge, he's not the best at what he do.
Yeah. I think now I'm gonna go with the Ridge comment. Yeah, that's one thing I will give Ray before, man. He most definitely will bring energy to a football team, and he'll motivate guys, man, to be better than themselves, man. But my thing is, I think a lot of things he do is just, it isn't modernized, man. It's kind of basic, and it's not hard to figure out if you watch it on film. And when you play against the Tennessee Titans, you see how physical they are, and the high motor that they play with is what would beat teams. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just because we was out scheming them or out coaching them. I just think think that we were just playing harder than the other team, you know. And it eventually will wear you down trying to stop Derrick Henry after 30 carries. You know what I'm saying? Let's just put, but with just straight physicality. You know what I'm saying? So I just look at it this way, man. It's time to evolve, man. And I think that's where I'm hoping, man, we get one of these offensive coordinators. The big three, I think, is Ben Johnson, Brian Callahan, and Bobby Slowick. And I think if we get one of those three, man, I think you guys are going to see what I know that I've been preaching. That, man, we can be in some of these football games, man. To me, it just didn't feel like the roster was just so bad that we can't be in a football game. You know what I'm saying? Like, now the offensive line, definitely, it was terrible. But even then, like, I just don't feel like the offensive line improved as the season went. Like, it was trash from game 1 all the way to game 17. Like, so, hopefully we get some better coaches, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, 5-star Max, any final thoughts before we move on over to the coaching search?
Nah, to be honest, man, y'all pretty much covered it all.
I ain't got nothing I ain't said already for the past couple weeks.
No, come on,
Come on, I need. Oh, man, don't hop on our side.
We're gonna see. I'm not on your side. I'm still over here on my side, and I still affirming what I believe. So we're just gonna see, bro. But I still think this is gonna be a bad decision by us, bro. Bro, I've seen this play out too many times, and I know that y'all want to act like we got faith in the confidence of this team, but how many times we want to sit here and we're like, oh, free agency's here. We want to go out there and make a splash and not do shit. Oh, okay, we fired a GM. Now we want this GM. We go hire John Robinson. What the fuck we doing? Oh, we got we're open for GM. We want this GM. We hired Ram. What the fuck we doing? And now we got confidence in this franchise that ain't never done shit right really for us and typically fumbles the ball in these moments. Now we got I don't have confidence. Yeah, Miss Amy has hired these people in the right time, but she's also the same people that hired these people in the first place too, guys. So you can't be like, I applaud her for firing them because they were bad hires. Well, she's also the guy that hired, or the person that hired them too. So, well, which one is it? Well, they can't be great fires and good hires, bro. If it's a good fire, then it's usually a bad hire as well for us. So
I'll say this though, I don't. As much as I get on Vrabel, I don't think he was a bad hire. I don't think he's a bad hire. I just think that he reached his ceiling as a head coach, man. And you start to figure out what he is, you know what I'm saying, as a head coach. And I just don't feel like we can find better. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
Well, and to build on that, so let me ask you this. So the Malarkey firing, when she fired, I know he won a playoff game. Did firing Malarkey and bringing in Mike Vrabel make them a better team? Yes or no?
Well, we was the same team for a while. We was 9-7 for a couple of years, right?
Do you think, and then we went to the AFC Championship.
Right. Once Vrabel was able to inspire that culture, right? But once Vrabel got his culture, it changed. So for me, I know y'all don't want to act like the roster is that big of a thing, but it is to me. It really is a big fucking thing, because this franchise was expecting a 5-star course meal from damn Mike Vrabel, and they kept bringing him top ramen every single damn week and year after year, and they're wondering where's my duck, where's my scallops, where's all this other shit. It's like, you keep bringing me ramen, but you want a 5-star cuisine. You got to bring me a better grocery list if you want me to cook better. I'm doing the best with what I have, and I truly feel that. But all that's just opinion now. We're not going to know until time comes and tells. But that's true. Bro, I remember where there's a time that there's a difference between having ego and not having confidence in the people that you're working with to bring you the tools that you're equipped, that you're expecting to have brought to you. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now. Is it ego, or did he just not trust Amy to do this shit? Because, bro, this is what Amy's been 8-10 years. She's fired 3 head coaches now and 2 GMs, and 2 of the head coaches she fired had winning records, one after a playoff berth. That's the record.
I'll say this though. I think that, I just feel like, man, look, I get the players' excuse, and I don't think this team is very good, but we wasn't getting the most out of this team, man. I'm sorry, bro. Like, we didn't We didn't use Burks at all. Like,
We tried. He dropped the ball. We not gonna say we didn't try.
He
This
was
motherfucker,
trash.
he was dropping balls. Chig was dropping balls. We're not gonna say now like, oh, we didn't give him. No, we gave them plenty of chances.
It's hard to give him a chance when he can't get on the field either. I mean, when he's
I
every
agree.
other week.
I'm talking about when he got on the field. They did not throw this man the ball.
Look, Traylen's new nickname needs to be Casper the Friendly Ghost, okay? Because whether he's on the field or IR, this dude is just gone. And he's just not there, bro.
Now that's my motherfucking dog, Firestone. Goddamn it, get that motherfucking shit popping, dog. Hell.
Look, here's my thing, man. As a manager of a business, you can hire somebody with the misconception that they are good. You know what I mean? They can talk some shit in your ear and make you think that they are better than they are. Now, here's my other thing. How many times have we joked around about gotta coach better, gotta play better? After you hear that shit like 7 times, man, you're over it. And I'm sorry, but as far as I am with Mike Vrabel, I'm over him as my head coach. Period.
Man. We'll go ahead and
But see, I'm gonna add this real quick though, because you business too. All right, but do you listen to Gary Vee? Don't he say at some point when you start hiring people and you got to constantly fire, they're not bad hires. You're just a bad hirer. You are the person that's making and getting bamboozled by these people that says these are good. It is your responsibility as the manager and as the business owner to see through people's bullshit and hire quality people. You can't say, well, I fired them quick enough. That should be good enough. No, but you're also not hiring top quality people if that's what we're going at. And you're the person here that's repetitively hiring these people, but then we praise you because you fired them, but you're the ones that brought them in here in the first place as well.
I ain't gonna disagree with that, Leonard. You got a great point there, Firestone, man. I can't.
Look. My thing is though, these coaches that was hired, bro, was most definitely hired by Mike Vrabel, bro. Mike Vrabel wanted these guys.
Well, I mean, no, I'm talking Malarkey and Wisenhunt.
Okay.
I'm talking about the head coach.
She didn't hire Wisenhunt.
She
didn't hire
Wisenhunt.
in here.
But she did get his ass out.
She didn't hire Wisenhunt, and she just promoted Wisenhunt, Malarkey from Wisenhunt's staff to be the head coach. That's all. The intern head coach, and then she hired Mike Vrabel. Like that was her hire. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That was her one hire that she made. So like that's why I said I'm happy that she did it because she's seen what Vrabel is. You know what I'm saying? It isn't like we need to go see it. It was a lot of Titan fans, and I don't see nothing wrong with it. But they were saying that we need another year of Vrabel, and I'm like, bro, what do you need another year to see what? Yeah, you need to see what? And to see him be the same coach he always been. Like
even outside the Vrabel stuff, there's so many things Amy's doing that just questions for me as a leadership. It's like, bro, and RJ, you military, right? So, or ex-military, so you know too. You never ask your subordinates to do what you wouldn't do. As a leader, you never ask the people below you to do what you wouldn't do. And yet constantly Amy asked these people to do what she wouldn't do. When she fired J-Rob, Vrabel had to answer the press conference. When she just fired Mike Vrabel, Rand had to come into press conference. I wasn't in none of the talks. I wasn't there in the room when they talked trade talk. I wasn't in the room when she fired him, but yet he's the one out there answering the questions. That's piss poor leadership. And that's just what it is. When you do something like that and you're the only person in the room with Mike Vrabel and the press conference need to be held, you don't go send somebody else out and say, hey, go do this. Then you also don't film and produce with the inside reporter why you're explaining why you did all this as a setup. So when you can be like, I didn't like how I answered that. Can we refilm that real quick? Okay, we'll edit, cut, we'll tweak that. That's bullshit. That's not okay. I don't like that shit. Come up, answer for what you did. This is a $4 billion company. Come up and answer for what you did. Don't try to hide behind Rand. Don't try to hide behind Vrabel now. You made those decisions. Don't make them come up here and have to and handle the fire. And Mike Keith and them talked again on the Official Titans podcast, which I want to bring this up. And they kind of brought in some insight of some things outside Malarkey did too that kind of rubbed Amy the wrong way. And I want to get y'all's thoughts on that too.
Going back and looking in terms of how this departure of the head coach went, the distance of it is not totally different than, say, Mike Malarkey. Mike Malarkey was let go on the Tuesday after the New England playoff game. So it was 2 days. But he did have the final press conference on Monday, And you'll remember in the final press conference, he said essentially he wasn't going to make any, he didn't plan to make any changes on offense. And everyone kind of was surprised that he didn't come out and say that. And the next day he was let go. I don't know that everybody was shocked, Coach, because in Mike Mularkey's case, he was going into the final year of a 3-year contract, and you either realistically had to extend him or let him go.
Yeah, well, and there were some other things too after the Kansas City game.
Well, he had said after that game that was. So you win your first playoff game in 14 years. Yeah, 14 years, and he had basically in his press conference gone into the fact that he was disappointed that ownership had not dispelled rumors about him being fired, potentially. And that wasn't received well.
Well, and he took it to a personal level, Mike, because he talked about the stress that it brought on his family.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting in the room and I was sitting there going, uh-oh, that's probably not going to go well.
We were listening. I can't remember if we were already on the bus or where we were when we heard it. And I guess we would have heard a playback on the bus. But it was very odd. It was a very odd tone. And your thought process then was, whoa, I don't know if this is the time to.
Yeah, you just won a playoff game.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old Jerry Clower line. I don't believe I'd have told that.
I don't believe I'd have told that, brother.
And from all my years in the league, it's best to keep. You've got a lot of thoughts. Just keep them to yourself until it's the right place to do it. You know, usually airing grievances in public, I think in any business is not good.
Right.
And especially a very visual and a very visible business. Just, you can have the thoughts, but keep it to yourself in the right context.
Yeah, man. That was some great content right there. We're gonna bring up the super chat real quick. Sports tech, oh god, here I go. Sports-tacular. I hope I ain't slaughtering you. But man, shout out to you, man. Love the podcast. Y'all keep it real every time. Tighten up. Yeah, man. That's what we do around here, man. No matter, if we all agree with one another or, somebody's disagreeing with one or disagreeing with everybody, man. I mean, you gonna get everybody's, real opinion about everything that's going on with the team. But we got a few comments in the building, Firestone, in which I'll say this right here. I mean, shout out to Patricia too. She pretty much said the owner, she's the owner and she's not required to. And Sean also said the same thing pretty much. We don't want a Jerry Jones, and Rashad said the same thing. Owner can do that. And while I do agree with them, I also agree with you too, Firestone, because I actually agree with you more because, I mean, this is a production-based business. And when you make these type of decisions, the people want to hear from you. Now, shout out to Amy for, getting out there and, at least talking, at least putting something out there, because there are some owners who will do some foolishness and you won't hear nothing from them. My case in point, that motherfucker down there in Carolina. Have you heard from him? I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody's heard anything from him outside of him throwing a drink on the fan or whatever. But
did Robert Kraft say anything? What did people? Who's the?
Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft.
Bro, they talk. I mean, Carolina just had his press conference not long ago either.
What about he's Seattle? Did they say anything?
Yes.
What about the?
Yes. Yeah, they did.
Almost every owner does that.
That's the thing. That's every owner does this. And the crazy thing is that okay, she's the owner, she can do that. Okay, well, guess what? She has to hire coaches. She has to hire GMs. And I keep saying it, that her and Rand are the selling points now. Do you think if you're a top candidate that you're going to want to come here knowing that she's going to do something, and then now you got to stand in front of the media and answer for questions for shit that you have no knowledge about, that your employer, your boss is just going to hand you out to dry? Am I going to come to that team? You already ain't got talent. Now you're going to hand me out to dry for the media for shit that you do and not even give me any context or help. Like, she's still selling a job here, guys. I don't care if she's the owner or not. She still has to sell coaches to come here. That's where her business etiquette is going to hurt us in the long run, because guys ain't going to want to come here. Girls aren't going to want to, whoever it is, they're not going to want to come here and coach for somebody that's going to leave you out to hang to dry. And like the Mike Keith thing is, it sounds like once you kind of voice like an upset with the ownership's like, oh, they're not going to receive that well. That's starting to get a little fishy. Like, I can't even voice concerns because it's not going to be received well.
Let me.
Yeah, I most definitely feel you though. I really do.
I just say something really, really fast. I work for an independent mechanic. He owns the business. My owner walks around with me all day, and I say all the time he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's the owner. His name's on the building. I have hurt my owner's feelings before, and when I did, he told me under no uncertain terms if I was to ever say anything like that ever again, I would be fired. Didn't matter what I brought. And that's just the plain beans of it, man. You are a human being. If someone comes at you or comes at your family or comes at your name, nah, man. I mean, that's their bad. They should know better than to do something like that against their owner, in my opinion.
And I put my input on that, and I do agree with what you're saying, Max. But when I was in the Navy, you know what I'm saying? If y'all didn't know, I was in the Navy for 6 years, man. So I've seen multiple people let go, man. And, you know, especially my 05, you know what I'm saying, chaplain, she got fired, bro, and got pretty much off the ship. I didn't see my commanding officer, who was one pay grade below her, he didn't come down and speak to us. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come out and tell us, hey, man, look, I'm sorry you guys had to deal with that. Like he had the person that's in charge of everything that has a right to do this. You know what I'm saying? As much as I don't like it, as much as I, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other, and despise and get on these, you know, and get mad about it, I couldn't. He's not wrong. You get what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, he's not wrong for doing that. He basically you don't know what Amy could be doing. She probably had a lot of other shit that she had going on outside of that press conference, bro. You know what I'm saying? She probably was going ahead and getting started on looking for the next guy. You get what I'm saying? You don't know. But at the same time, I do agree with you. But also, like, I'm basically where Morocco is at. I agree with both sides. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I would like to see my owner come out and step up and be in front of this situation. But at the same time, she doesn't have to do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't have to do it. You know,
Yeah, I just think that's going to hinder us when we start coming to see, because like you realize, like, people sees that, and we're in a coaching candidate job right now, and best believe these candidates saw the media attacking Rand, and Rand under pressure, unrightfully so. I feel for Rand in that moment, because you don't have no answers, you don't know what's going on. All these reporters are crammed in there, they're going hectic, they're yelling over each other. The disrespect in that room was crazy that day, and you had to handle it knowing that. That was so unfair to Rand in that moment. And you saw all these other guys handle it and see that. Then you got to go back and look back as if you're an OC coming in now. Okay, well, then when they fired J-Rob, she made Mike Vrabel do that. When they traded AJ, she made Mike Vrabel and J-Rob do that. When they traded Kevin Byard, they made Mike Vrabel say that. So do I really want to put myself in there where I got to answer for everything when I don't have control over everything? But yeah, I got to answer for everything as if it was. It's just, bro, these other coaching candidates going to come in and see that, and it might be a turnoff on top of the fact that we got a sorry-ass roster.
Here's my piece, and this is my middle ground, because I agree with everything that you've just said. I do think that she needs help in that aspect. I don't know, and we're talking about the Adams family here. I mean, we saw the same kind of stuff with Bud back in the day, but they are good business people. So when you look at what she's done for the organization, bring in, the new stadium, people are going to argue about it, but it's going to bring money into this city. I mean, without a doubt. You look at bringing the draft to Nashville, arguably one of the best NFL in-person drafts that the league has ever seen.
It is the best.
I mean, that exactly. Then you look at the uniform launch, just something as simple as a uniform launch, holding an event in downtown Nashville to make sure she was bringing revenue in from the team to all the local businesses in Nashville. And then the biggest one for me was restoring the relationship with the old Oilers players. If you look at Warren Moon and his comments about, I don't care about that team, I never played for that team. And now he's at almost every game when they're recognizing Oilers players. So she's done things for this organization, maybe not necessarily the people in it per se, but for the organization as a whole. So does she need somebody who's kind of in her back pocket to say, hey, Amy, maybe we don't go that route, or maybe we look at this person, or maybe we say this in a press conference, or maybe we do a press conference. I do think she needs that kind of personal effect. But when it comes to what she does as a business owner, I can't argue with having her here, because I do think this organization is better because of her. So it could be worse, but I do see your points where it's like when coaches and when ownership, when people are looking to take a job, yeah, it's a little bit of a turnoff. But the market, I feel like, is growing to the point where it's going to get better.
Yeah, shout out to Patricia too. Hey, thank you for turning us up, sis, with the super chat. Are y'all aware Vrabel picked the players this year? Oh, yeah, I'm very aware that, he played a key role in picking quite a few of those players. Some of those players you may like, and some of those players you may not like so much, Andrew Dillard. But yeah,
But like even Rand said in that press conference, bro, you're not changing a roster in a year. So I just hate that argument that when people's like, oh, well, Vrabel picked the play. We didn't have that much cap space. We didn't have draft capital. Just because he did last year, it wasn't much of a damn change. It was still trying to pick the crumbs from the damn cookie jar and try to put a cookie together, bro. Like 1 year is not going to change nothing, especially with those low cap spaces we had last year.
Yeah,
just in my opinion, though,
right there.
I'll say this though, but there was some football games this season that I feel like Tennessee Titans could have won, man, and we could have had a much better record.
I just feel like we didn't have dogs on the team, bro. There's too many players that are just showing up, collecting checks, and don't have a fight and a dog in them. And I don't know if that was just because that's what we had to deal with because we can't sell players and people to come here, or that's what I'm trying to figure out what this bigger issue is, because for whatever reason, bro, 70% of this team was not fucking dogs, and that can't happen.
I agree. But like I said, at the same time though, there was some games that could have went our way. Like the Saints game, with the first game of the season, we could have won. We could have won. We could have beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. We was winning that whole entire darn game into the end. Both Colts games we could have won, man. I mean, we came to play against the Colts both times. The Houston Texans this year, and the Houston Texans in the Oilers uniform. That's 5 games that I just named, bro. We could have been fighting for a playoff spot. You get what I'm saying? And this is where if we have a coach that give us the most out of an okay, which I think the Titans are like a below average roster this year. I'll say below average. And if you can just know a team is playing above their means, bro, than what they really are. And I feel like we wasn't doing that this year. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, do I trust him when we do get the roster to get us to where we're trying to get to? And I don't know. I don't know.
Bro, I feel like that Browns game destroyed Dillard's career the same way that Super Bowl destroyed Cam Newton's. Like once he started getting hit by Von Miller, we never saw the same Cam, right?
Yeah.
It's like once you Myles Garrett whooped his ass so bad. And we made jokes that he coached him afterwards, this and that. But bro, I think that moment right there after that, Dillard's was done. You done lost all confidence, all faith, all self-esteem, not only as a football player, but feels like a man. Like he just looked completely defeated. And I think his whole NFL career, that Myles Garrett was a bad whooping on that man, and it ended him.
Let me say this right here, man. Here's the thing, and going back to the article in the Athletic. Who is the one that wanted to run it back? Who's the one that wanted to compete and fight? That was Mike Vrabel. That said in the article. Rand and others, they was wanting to go ahead and trade off assets, get whatever they can right now, so that they could be more prepared for the future, because that's just the reality of the job when it comes to the GM. They always have to be looking forward. The coach has to look at the now. So you give Mike Vrabel more say. And Mike Vrabel's the one who said, we're going to run it back. We're going to run it back with Tannehill. We're going to run it back with Henry. We're going to run it back with Byard. We're going to bring in D-Hop. We're going to run it back because we're going to take this division. I was on board with that. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I wasn't on board with the shit. Everybody already know, goddamn it, I was out here hollering out fuck a draft pick and all that old other dumb shit. But hold on, Firestone.
Go ahead.
But why did the team tell us that we are retooling? This is a rebuild, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. If they felt like they couldn't compete, that's what it should have been. And think back to Mike Vrabel having this say or whatever. They were only saying all that because of this, what Mike Vrabel's vision was. This is what he wanted. And what sense would it make for them to come out there and say, oh, we looking for, a rebuild, just be patient with us, but you got Mike Vrabel up over here saying run it back or whatever. No. They only said what they said because they were trying to carry out Mike Vrabel's vision. And when that vision didn't work, they got rid of him. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, look, honestly, bro, we all came into the season thinking we could rebuild. If you tell me though, like, in all honesty, if you don't think if they would have put a better O-line on that field, we could have been a playoff team. Not a Super Bowl, but we couldn't have been a playoff team if only we had a better O-line. Just that.
Maybe so, but at the same time,
I think so, because we couldn't even have time to develop certain things. Like that O-line destroyed more progress than we could actually do. That O-line kept feeling like 2 steps forward, 25 yards back. Like, it's what it always kept feeling like with the penalties, nobody being able to block shit. So if they could have got that, that would have been good. But because we did feel like last year they could have rebuilt and retooled and O-line and pass coverage, and we could have probably done that shit. Now we're at a point like you just got to rebuild. You already traded Kevin Byard away. Henry's out the door now, no compensation. Tannehill's out the door, no compensation. Y'all better blow this shit the fuck up, and we better see a lot of people gone now because you didn't let everything that we had as draft capital or any type of capital walk out the door. And some of the people you brought in now, we might have to look at. They might request trades now to get out because what they was requiring for a team during free agency is no longer what we have anymore. We have a bunch of turmoil, and that's exactly what D-Hop didn't want.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get the super chat, RJ. Let me go ahead and get the super chat. Then I'm gonna let you take. We know, we got to turn our people up, especially when they in here spending money with us, when they supporting us. But shout out to Andre Bunton. He says Stevie Wonder conceded that this team needed a rebuild, but Vrabel refused to acknowledge it, riding the fence, setting us back. Then did it with a bomb staff. RJ, talk to him.
Yeah, man, I do agree with what he's talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? That this team, in my opinion, needed a rebuild. I know we was all hype. We couldn't wait to get D-Hop, man, and prove everybody wrong. But at the end of the day, I mean, even in the offseason, I said I just don't think we're gonna do anything with Ryan Tannehill, quarterback. I just felt like he wasn't playing that well. You know what I'm saying? But I knew what I could get from Ryan Tannehill, especially if we had D-Hop. But my opinion, Mike Vrabel should have seen that offensive line wasn't good, bro. We wasn't gonna do nothing this year, man. I mean, it ain't looked good for the past couple of years, but we did sign a bunch of guys that I thought would probably be a little bit better. I thought Dillon would be a little bit better. Brunskill was okay this year, but even then, man. And then Nicholas Petit-Ferrer wound up getting suspended too. That wound up hurting us really bad, man. We just didn't really have any continuity on the offensive line. Hopefully, we can fix that moving forward. But I will say this though, man. How do y'all feel about what we're gonna look like moving forward, man? Do y'all think that we're gonna compete at all next year, or what
I'm
y'all
not
thinking?
looking for it. I'm not falling for it again.
Yeah.
Really not gonna fall for it again. They seriously got to show me that, I'm gonna take whatever comes with the season. I don't have any expectations going into 2024. I'm not falling for that again because it brings too much letdown. And I know Firestone was mentioning about we probably could have won some more games with a better offensive line. That is true. That probably is true. But at the same time, how much winning would we have done with that? And you sit and right back to Miss Amy and what she put out there in her statement. She wasn't just good with winning more games than losing. No, she wants to win the championship. And even with improved O-line, how much winning were we gonna do? We weren't going to do any championship type of winning. We may have won the division, may have won a wild card game, but you got to be real about the situation now that it's out there. We probably don't do a lot of winning that would get us to a championship, and that's where that's where they were at before they decided to roll with Mike Vrabel's vision about retooling. They was at the point like we might as well go ahead and trade off these assets and start the process of a rebuild.
Yeah, and the part that gets me is when you watch these playoffs coming up, starting as soon as this weekend, you're going to see teams in these playoffs that are built for shootouts. And you're probably going to be you're going to see some shootout games in this playoff. And the Titans just weren't built for that. And I feel like that's was kind of the knock on Vrabel is not only are they not built for that now, but were they preparing to build for that? Because that's what this league is. He wanted to be old school, run it down your throat, and they need to have a team that can go into a game against the Dolphins, against the Eagles, against the better teams in this league who have offenses that can put up points. And to me, this just hasn't been a team in the last 2 to 3 years that can consistently put up enough points to compete for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with that. We got to score, man. That's why I've been so harping this offensive-minded head coach, because we got to put up points, man. Look at Indianapolis, bro. Look at Houston. Look at Jacksonville. I know we just beat Jacksonville, but look what we had to do to beat Jacksonville. We had to have one of our best games of the season to beat Jacksonville, and they weren't even playing good. You get what I'm saying? Jacksonville was playing terrible. Like they would. Yeah, a regular Titan game would not have beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars, bro. We had to play our A+ game to beat them. And that tells you something. Our A+ game is 28 points. That's our A+ game, bro. That's a normal game for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a normal game for the San Francisco 49ers. It's a normal game for the Cowboys. This is the Cowboys, the team we laugh at every year. Their normal game is 28 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't put up 28 points, it ain't even gonna look good. You know what I'm saying? They gonna be in there, they gonna be ready to talk about firing people, So like moving forward, man, we're gonna have to really take this offensive line series. We're gonna have to take these wide receiver series because that's what wins in this league now, man. You're gonna have a big arm quarterback, which we already have, and we need some speed, bro. We ain't got no speed on the outside, bro.
None at all.
None, bro. But it's gonna take some time, man. But I will say though, this is the draft to get some good receivers, man. There's so many good receivers in the draft. Maybe we'll probably get one in the second round, man. Hopefully we can do something.
My problem is though, bro. I feel like we're back to the Mariota days, and I feel like we're gonna suck for a couple of years. But is Amy gonna have the patience with this new head coach, or is 2 years into this new head coach, she don't feel like Will Levis is developing? We start going through the Mariota carousel again, start firing coaches, fucking up another young QB's development. Because, bro, we're not going to compete next year. We're going to have a bad roster again because all the stars we did have is going to be gone. All we got to build around is Will Levis. We got Jeffrey Simmons to build around, and maybe Harold Landry on defense-wise. That's actually like blocks to build around. Like, okay, yeah, we got D-Hop, but D-Hop's gone in a year. Those are the young talent we got to actually start building a foundation around. we got too many things to start building around and start implementing for us to fix it in one draft and one offseason, even with all of this money. So we're not, especially with the way the AFC South is now, they already starting to get their shit together. They just got to make some tweaks. Bro, we're not going to win for a couple of years. So is Miss Amy going to have patience with this next coach knowing we're going to suck for a couple of years? Are you going to be willing to give this QB and this coach a little bit of time to actually develop, or are you going to be ready to kick them out and start trying to find it and being patient like we was with Mariota? Because looking back at it, we thought these coaches was doing bad by Mariota, but looking at it, Mariota was doing bad by these coaches.
If she's trying to, orchestrate a rebuild, I mean, don't you think she would have the patience to, see the rebuild through? I mean,
I would
you
hope
say
so.
you say
She was patient with
that
Vrabel.
you say that she fired him after 2 years or whatever. That was only malarkey. That was because he didn't want to change the offensive coordinator. Remember, she came in wanting to evolve. That was the whole thing about, her stepping in, taking on that role of controlling owner. Now, she gave Vrabel 7, 8 years or whatnot. Vrabel has had 6 years. So she gave him 6 years, 18.
But like
he gave him plenty of time.
No. She had patience with him as long as he was winning. Once he started losing, patience went out the door. So, but that's my point. These next couple of years are going to be losing seasons. So how patient is she going to be with a coach that's losing? She's patient when you're winning. She ain't patient when you're losing.
If we're losing, and we'll say okay, we can't have these losing efforts like we had against the second game against the Texans, where we're just doing all type of dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's that's why we're losing the game. I'm okay with losing if we're getting the most out of this bad roster, and these boys are playing better than what they really are. But we lose the game because we're just not a good football team. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. If we can get that out of our coach, I'm cool with it. I don't think we got that out of Vrabel this year. And I think it's moving forward, man. We gotta be able to score, bro. I'm sorry, bro. We got to put up 20-some points a game, bro. I can't do this 16, 15, 14, 13 type games we like to play in, So
if we're losing games and we're progressing in areas, that's one thing. But Firestone, good and well, we were losing games and we just kept on going downhill. Why were we going downhill? Because of the offense. I mean, after 2019, 2020, or whichever season it was, Art Smith's last season, after that, shit just kept on going down. I mean, you see where Ty Downing took the offense or whatever. He took a top 3 offense.
Yes.
They still had the same weapon. They added better weapons.
No, they lost the offensive line.
Brown.
They lost the offensive line, bro. Then they lost AJ Brown, and guess what?
That offensive line was competent, though. That offensive line was competent.
And you talking about from 2020 to 2021?
And you're talking about
2020, the offensive line wasn't that good.
Yeah, it wasn't that good, but it was competent. They were run blocking. They were getting beat.
They were really good at run blocking, okay pass blockers.
Yeah, they were doing good run blocking, but pass blocking, it was down. But even with that right there, you can't sit up here and tell me that with a competent offensive coordinator, they would have got the same results as Ty Downing got. And when that shit went downhill with Ty Downing that first season, his ass was supposed to be up out of here because guess what? He has a track record of sucking. And what did Vrabel do? He kept him around. And then he kept him around after he fucked up and got a DUI.
Okay. All right, but let's look at this both ways. All right. The O-line was new every single year. The wide receiver core was never the same every year. The only person that kept returning in this wide receiver core is NWI. That's the veteran in our locker room. Every single year we had a new receiving core. Every single year we had a new offensive line. How do you expect your offense coordinator, and I'm not defending Todd Downing here, but how do you expect as an owner and as a GM for your offensive coordinator to succeed when you constantly are having a carousel of players change year in, year out, constantly changing? O-line's changing. Wide receiver core is changing. How are you going to get shit going on and build some chemistry and build some rapport with some people if it's constantly changing? That's not a success model, and that's not coaching. Like, coaching sucked on top of that, so let's not give that out. But let's also realize that the steps before that was ass too as well. That don't make mediocre coaching. That's just going to make that bad coaching even worse when you start doing shit like that.
Look,
Yeah.
I won't say that it's
Go ahead,
100%
man.
Vrabel's fault because the coach goes off the GM. I mean, you have to have both of those working good in tandem to make a good franchise for a long period of time. That's the only way it works. And John Robinson missed on his first and second rounds, I don't know, what, 3-4 years in a row.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to give that at least to Vrabel. But at the same time, you look at the what is it, like 7-24 or something stupid like that in the last
13-24.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they haven't
absolutely
been good.
ridiculous when you look at the schedule, man. And look at what Rand Carthon did in our last offseason. With no money, he was strapped. We had hardly any draft picks because John Robinson had traded them all. We didn't have any cap space because John Robinson had given it all to Julio Jones and other people that weren't even on our team anymore. So with Rand Carthon, with the amount of cap space that he has, the high draft pick that he has, and the fact that he's going to get a head coach that also sees his vision, I really feel like we're going to have a quick 1 to 2 year turnaround.
Bro,
I say 2 years. I think 2 years we're going to be in the playoffs. That's where I'm at right now. I think we have the quarterback. We just can't block at all. Like, we cannot block, bro. And we just need to fix the receivers, man. I think we're good at tight end. I think Chig is going to get better, man. When we have an offensive minded guy that can put Chig in the right spot, I think he'll be fine. I think Burks could be our wide receiver 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, he be a wide receiver. He just gotta stay healthy, bro. He don't stay unhealthy. Maybe we can get somebody like a T. Higgins or a Michael Pittman or somebody in his free agency that can help this receiving core. Golly, we need a corner too. Bro. Our corners are freaking outside of Sean Murphy Bunting and Roger McCreary are pretty bad. I'm not even gonna lie.
But I just want us to bring in people and have them stick around, because I'm tired of us having people come around, and this still comes to this day right now too, that we bring people in, then we cut them, and then they are still getting paid on the roster for 2 to 3 more years. Julio did it. Even though we fired Vrabel, guess what? You know why he's not so eager to go get a damn job? We're paying him for the next 2 years still. We still got to pay his contract. He ain't no rush to go get no job because he's still making coaches money. Why does he need to go get a job? He can sit on the couch and make all the money and all the incentives that he has still in his contract with the Titans. So, like, we're still paying people and getting rid of them and watching them. That's ownership shit constantly still going on. That's the repetitiveness. We bring people in, then we let them go, and we still pay for them for 2 to 3 years to come.
I mean, shoot, that's the way you handle business sometimes. I mean, shoot.
That's not how you handle good business, bro. That's running business into the ground.
I ain't buying that, bro. I just don't think
it is. I mean, if you got a situation going left, you just gotta, cut your losses or whatever, however they say it. I mean, you're not just gonna sit up there and let the ship just sink or whatever. If you got the money to get them the fuck up out of here, you get them the fuck up out of here. God dang it!
Or
get back to them and you try to find somebody who can do the damn job. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah,
or you find somebody that can hire people and knows how to find talent rather than bringing them in, overpaying them, kicking them out, and letting these motherfuckers make money off the damn couch.
Is that
I get your point. I get your point.
I hope so. We're going to see. I hope so.
I get your point.
Firestone, the reason I ain't buying it, I'm not buying it. That Vrabel's not getting a head coaching job because he's getting paid by the Titans.
Oh, he's pissed, bro. No, I know I know he's not in no rush. He's a top candidate. He's pissed off right now for everything that's going on, and he's already getting paid anyway. He's not in a rush like some of these OCs that are getting OC pay to hurry up. Plus, you don't get to do visual till the divisional round. This is all Zoom meetings.
The reason he's not getting the job is because he's outdated as a head coach. That is why he's not getting the job. He's outdated. We're not going to win a Super Bowl in today's era running the football and playing defense. You're not going to do it. There's a reason the Patriots didn't want him. The Commanders don't want him.
No, bro, he's not outdated. You're going to see, bro. He's a 40-something-year-old. This is a young coach. He's not Pete Carroll 72 outdated. This is 40, and he was
outdated,
doing
man.
good until they started taking away the players he was doing good with. And but we'll see. Well, I
The
promise
league
you, I
also
really
changed,
mindset.
though,
with
bro.
Malarkey's
hey,
players.
we gonna see.
The league changed,
With
bro.
Malarkey's players.
It's
Bro,
not
I-
age, it's mindset. It's not even about age, it's just about mindset. And he just doesn't have the ability to change. I feel like he refuses to adapt. I mean, they can't even play a solid second half of football this year. Much less change mid-season, much less change year to year. I mean, he refuses to adapt. And that was the biggest thing for me. And I said it all season. This is a new league. It's a new age. It's a new generation of players, and he's just got to accept that. And I don't feel like he can. I just don't feel like he can.
Yeah, man.
He's not getting no interviews. I ain't
Nope.
seen nobody. I'm looking at everybody head coaching tree wish list. I don't see Vrabel on none of them. None of them. Nobody's coming out saying I want Mike Vrabel as my head coach. Nobody coming out and saying that. Like
when you're the most eligible bachelor on there and you have your time and you just got out some shit, you're not in no rush. You don't have to be in a rush to go do shit. Like I said, I promise you, he's pissed off right now. He feels like he put his heart and everything into this franchise and they just dropped him and he feel like he was doing shit. Bro, he's pissed right now. He is absolutely pissed and has every right to take this time to be like, let me get out of these emotions. So when I go to this next job, which he will have another job, I don't bring all this bullshit with me and I'm gonna have clear head and I can focus on these players. Because I guarantee you he's fucking highly pissed because there's so many of these reporters talking about we're trying to call Vrabel. He don't answer and he normally answers us. So many of the former players we try to reach out to Vrabel. He's not, bro, he is fucking livid right now. So I just think that's just what it is right now. Plus these Zoom meetings is bullshit right now. That's just bullshit meetings. You can't really meet and go visit until the divisional round of the playoffs. So there's no rush to actually get on somebody's wish list. Being on somebody's wish list don't mean shit. Getting a job does. Yeah, and Mayo got signed by New England because it was in his contract that once Bill retired, he was going to be there. So all these people's like, New England didn't even want him. No, they already put it in Mayo's contract. They put it in Mayo's contract last year. When Bill walked away, Mayo would get the job. So that's why that shit didn't go out because it's already in Mayo's contract.
They've got enough lawyers they could edit that contract, man. They could get out of that contract if they wanted Vrabel that bad. They would go get Vrabel. You can't put it all on a contract.
We're talking about the New England Patriots. They is the king of fucking loopholes.
That's right.
Yeah, bro. But also, if you go do that,
they would have got him, bro. They wanted Vrabel. I ain't seen what interview has he been on? He ain't been on no Chargers interview. He ain't been on Washington football team interview. I ain't seen no Carolina Panthers interviews. I ain't seen no Raiders interviews. I ain't seen nothing. Like nobody wants this guy.
And that's the most telling fact right there, in my opinion. Okay. That is the most telling fact.
Everybody told
we'll see.
me.
Well, next year when y'all see Vrabel on a team and see what Vrabel is doing, and we're going to come back to this point, and we're going to sit here looking at Vrabel like an AJ. I'm tired of seeing this motherfucker put up 100-yard games and our wide receivers can't catch a fucking ball. When we go back through that shit, I'm going to be sitting here pulling out receipts and be like, oh, no, y'all remember this? Nah. Vrabel's over at the new team, 13 win, going to the divisions.
We're good.
So my thing is, why was AJ Brown better on the Eagles than he was in 3 years that we was here? He was better on the Eagles.
And he played all the games.
NFL.
That man was a block.
He was modern day offense.
They said AJ Brown one of the best blocking wide receivers on Tennessee Titans.
And his quarterback got him the ball because they dialed up plays to get AJ Brown the ball. Now this season, I don't know what the hell going on up there in Philly shit. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We'll get to it a little bit later, but I'm gonna hold out on that. We're gonna talk about coaching. We said we're gonna talk about the coaching search probably about 30-40 minutes ago, but man, y'all know how we do on here, man. We got to give you the all, man. We got to keep it funky on here, but yeah, man. With Mike Vrabel out, I mean, we got a new coach that's got to come in and he got to get this shit together, and we're gonna talk about it right now. Oh yeah, shout out to Firestone. He got it fixed real quick. That was what's up. God damn it, hats off. Matter of fact, god damn it, hats off to you. As y'all can see, I ain't bald headed up under this hat. So I know my hairline ain't looking like Steve Harvey's toupee, but I ain't bald neither. But man, the Titans, they had an interview virtually today with Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. And the meeting, I mean, it went however it went. I mean, I haven't seen anything out there or whatever about the meeting. They probably, just, a meet and greet somewhat. Like Firestone said earlier, they won't get to come in and, physically see each other until after the divisional round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
And
right. Yeah.
right after the divisional round. Yeah.
Yep.
So Brian Callahan, my thoughts about him real quick. I like him as a coach. I mean, he's been some places, whatnot. He's worked with some great quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, of course, Joe Burrow. Who else did he work with? He worked with somebody else. He worked with Derek Carr as well. And I like the message that he put up out there in this interview he had. Actually, this is an older interview, I think, from back at the beginning of the season, right? Right after training camp or sometime around there. But here goes Brian Callahan talking about NFL offenses today.
How would you describe how the game is evolving away from the importance of the running back to the wide receiver and the quarterback?
You're just seeing a shift in philosophy. The teams that win the most games are generally the teams that pass the ball the best. That's usually because they have really good quarterbacks, and usually because they have guys that can make plays on football outside. And so you're seeing the teams invest in that part of the game really across the board. And we're no different. We spent really 2 top 35 picks on receivers and on a quarterback, and so we've invested in it as well. But I do think that's the shift in the league these days, is that the passing game has become the focal point. However, that does leave you opportunities to be really effective and efficient running the football because defenses do the same thing. They still give the resources to the pass game, which then gives you opportunities, hopefully, in the run game, to run against light boxes and numbers advantage and all that stuff. So I think the running back is still an important part of an NFL offense. It just has changed in the way that people view it and look at it, but it's still have to be able to do those things to play good football.
Hey, that's the mindset that the Titans need. The Titans need a coach with that mindset right there. I'm not saying they need Brian Callahan, but they need a head coach with that mindset. That mindset that the NFL is different nowadays. You got to have good to great quarterback play. Then outside of that, you got to have good / great wide receivers. You got to have fast wide receivers. And he's not, he's not discrediting the run game. He very much said that, the run game is important, but in today's NFL, it's about quarterback play. It's about wide receiver play. It's about that passing game. And starting off with you, Link, man, and we're going to pass it along after you, Max, then we're going to get Firestone there. RJ, your thoughts about Brian Callahan?
Yeah, I like Callahan. I like what he's done with the Bengals. He's shown great work with what he's been able to do with Joe Burrow. And I know a lot of that is just the talent of Joe Burrow, but we also saw it with Jake Browning this year. Him coming in, being able to take over. And I mean, he had a few games there where he was leading the team. And credit to the players, but you got to look at the offensive coordinator in that position too. And that's what, like you said, that's what the Titans need. They need that offensive mind, the guy that can come in, take what he's got to work with and put in a game plan that works for that player. He's not one of the people who's just going to do something because that's what he wants to do. He's going to recognize what he has and put together a good scheme. So I like him. He seems to have the ability to overcome different challenges. To me, that's what they need, is they just need that offensive mind. So I like Callahan, but no matter which direction they go, that type of person is who I think they should be looking at this point.
Yeah, to be honest, I totally agree with you, Link. To be really honest, when I first started looking at coaches, because I wasn't really ready for Vrabel to be fired. But when it happened, I started looking. Bobby Slowick, I guess, was a big name that came in, and that was just because of his, friendship with Rand Carthon. But then I thought to myself, do you really want to be hiring people based on friendships after Vrabel and his problems? So
Everybody
I
does
think,
it.
yeah, I honestly think that Brian Callahan is probably the best suited person as far as an offensive coordinator to be our head coach, just because he's had at least, I think he's had 5 years of experience being an offensive coordinator, and he has, taught Burrow, who is much like Will Levis in the fact that he can sling the ball really good. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I mean, bro, he's a good offensive coordinator. He understands the game and all that stuff. But for me, it's just I don't know if it's somebody we're going to go after. And Maxie says something that's alarms him. He's the perfect candidate. Usually for us, perfect candidates don't come here. They just don't.
You're right.
So for with him though, no, I hope so. But the thing that makes it with all these offensive minds that keep messing with me when I go through and evaluating them is that when Rand first got here, one of the first things Rand said was, all that Golden State ball is cute in October, but let's see how you play in December and January. That was his quote. All that Golden State ball is cute then, but that's not what wins you championships. So what are we going to actually do when that's the guy that's in charge now and that's his mentality on that type of play? So Brian's a good coach and I would love to have him here, but is that what we're actually going to go for? And is that what Rand actually wants as in his next coach? Because we don't know, and they don't want to share the vision with us either. And that's up to them to do either. But I can like all these coaches all I want, but I don't know who they're actually going to go get.
No, I'll say this though, man. I really like that quote that he started that interview off with. He said teams that usually are in the playoffs right now, usually the teams that pass the ball the best. And if you look at the playoffs, it's all teams that can pass the ball. You get what I'm saying? And I just look at it like this, man. I'll be cool with that hire. He's definitely one of my top three guys. My top three guys right now, obviously. Now, number one is Bobby Slowick. He's been my guy since I've been on the Fire Vrabel train. Bobby Slowick. Two is Ben Johnson from Detroit. I really like him. I like the physicality he plays. And I just feel like what Firestone was just saying, like, what are you going to be playing like in December and January? Ben Johnson can play. He can go physical and run the football down anybody. On anybody. Like, you watch Detroit, they run the ball on anybody. And they can pass the ball when they need to, too. And this is with Jared Goff at quarterback, And three would be Brian Callahan because, I mean, he has T. Higgins loves Brian Callahan. If you didn't know that, if you go look at some T. Higgins interviews, you can see what he says about Brian Callahan. Two, he's bringing the Bengals, man. The Bengals have been slinging the ball all over the place, even with Jake Browning or Joe Burrow, man. And you can see that it works, man. You know what I'm saying? Even they don't even use. I mean, they use Jamar Chase, but like even when Jamar Chase is hurt, their passing game doesn't go down at all. And that's even with Jake Browning out there. So. I just look at it like this, man. I'm cool with all three candidates. Give me an offensive guy, man, and we can bring some of our physicality that we already have here in the coaching set. Let's get to the Super Bowl, man.
Bro,
Yeah,
to me, and they just brought in. They also did the interview for the Giants OC, Mike.
Mike Kafka.
Mike Kafka.
Thank you. All right, yeah, bro. To me, honestly, bro, all these other candidates we want, but it's gonna be some Titan ass shit for them to go hire that Giants OC. That's the shit that would be the Titan shit. We get our hopes up about all these guys, then we're gonna get breaking news here in a couple of weeks, and we done signed the Giants OC.
I mean, I wouldn't
argue with that.
I wouldn't totally, discredit it or whatever, but yeah, I mean, that would be some Titan shit though. But I was gonna say this about Callahan too. I see a lot of people that aren't in favor of Callahan. They mentioned that he doesn't call the plays, that whoever's up over there calling the plays or whatever. I think isn't the head coach calling the plays for them in Cincinnati. But yeah, anyway, I wouldn't focus too much on the man not calling plays or whatnot. That's not the end all be all, because I mean, we look around the NFL today, and while some head coaches are calling plays and doing a damn good job of it, we see some head coaches who got done call plays in the past to a T. But as soon as you give them a head coaching title, they don't know what the hell they doing out there because they got so many responsibilities. See, everybody can't, go out there and be the great play caller they was when they became the head coach because of so many responsibilities. We seen it with Andy Reid throughout the years. Andy Reid was known for, calling his offense or whatever. And once it got to a point, and that's all about that, ability to adjust or whatever, that ability to adapt. Once he realized and understood that he needs to be focusing on every aspect of the game as a head coach, he gave up his play calling duties. Jerry Jones, for a very long time or whatever, he don't like his coaches calling plays. He done it with Jason Garrett, but usually he doesn't like his head coaches to call the plays. Now he's doing it this year, and you see how this shit is going. Even though Dallas has a good ass record, you see Mike McCarthy, he's still on that bullshit. You let him call some goddamn plays and get in a tight ass game, he's gonna do everything in his power to give the opposing team a chance to win. So that's why I say don't get so caught up in, a guy not calling plays. I would prefer my head coach not to call plays.
Yes, sir. I just want my head coach to tell him what kind of play to run. Give me a pass. Give me a run. Let the offensive coordinator figure out what the scheme needs to be. You right on there, Morocco.
Yeah, facts. But we're gonna move on from the coaching search or whatnot because there's very little there. Antonio Pierce will be coming in for a visit virtually on Sunday, I believe. Well, before we get to our last topic, thoughts on Antonio Pierce.
I don't want another defensive coordinator.
Bro, to me, he's just another Vrabel. He's he's a former player, first time, first coach. He has the same mentality, tough to. It's fucking Vrabel all over again. If you fire Vrabel and hire him, incompetence is going to be a word we're going to be using this year for Amy Adams Trump. Like, you can't go do that.
I would most definitely agree with that.
He's a good coach, but you just can't do that.
Right.
You can't put these statements up out here about, you want to win championships and you ain't just, good with just winning more games than losing or whatnot. Then go ahead and hire Antonio Pierce. And we're not saying this to discredit Antonio Pierce because what Antonio Pierce has done with the Raiders this season right here in the interim role, it is nothing short of magnificent. And I think for the Raiders, they should keep that type of coach around because I look at it like this right here with coaches or whatnot. And I'll tell you where I'm at with Vrabel in all this. I think there's a few types of coaches or whatnot. There are, coaches that, can come in, take something from the ground up, build it up to, something great. There are coaches out there like that. Then there are coaches that, you bring them in after you get a coach that, has brought the team up to, contend or whatnot. There's a coach that can come in and, take things up another notch. That's where, I'm at with Mike Vrabel. That's how I feel about Mike Vrabel. You put Mike Vrabel in the right situation right there, he's going to get what you want out of the team. That's why I think the Chargers would be a perfect situation for him because they need a coach that actually knows what the fuck he's doing out there. They need a coach who can, go tell a guy like, who they got up over there.
Max Crosby.
No, I'm talking about the Chargers. But
you saying Chargers? Oh,
yeah, I'm talking about the Chargers. They can go to a guy like, Bosa,
Herbert, Mac, Bosa.
Yeah, all them cats and tell them, hey, look, This is what we need you to do. We need you to go out there, boom, 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 and they go out there and do that shit to a T. I don't think Staley was doing that. I think Staley didn't know what the fuck he was doing up out there. But anybody blow that kind of lead in a playoff game, they obviously don't know what the fuck they doing. But
I think Belichick should go to the Chargers, man. You already got the
I
quarterback.
mean, Belichick's a made man or whatever. I mean, there's nothing to explain about Belichick. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest. But I was saying that to say, the Titans, they're at a point to where, they need a fresh mind at the head coach position. They need somebody who can come in here and teach and show guys the way. And whether a coach can come in here, do that, and take them to the promised land or whatever, I don't know. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for out of the Titans' new head coach. I'm looking for them to, come in, teach, and show them the way in this new NFL. But our last topic of the night, we're gonna get into these playoffs, man, because it's wild card weekend and shit is definitely wild. So yeah, man, the wild card weekend. Unfortunately, the Titans are not in the playoffs. I know that's a big fortune for some of y'all are taking side of the fan base at the 7th overall pick or whatnot. And they only want what's best for the fan base. Don't knock them too much for that. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I've sit up there and said fuck the draft pick, blah blah blah, with them and all that old stupid shit or whatever. But at the end of the day, compared to these motherfuckers out here denouncing the team over Mike fucking Vrabel, the people who wanted us to have a high draft pick, they at least want what's there. They at least want something that could benefit the team. But I'm gonna go on about my first payoff we got coming up, man, because we got some good ass games coming up on the AFC side of things. We got the Browns versus Texans, we got the Dolphins versus Chiefs, and we got the Steelers versus the Bills. And on the NFC side of things, we got Buccaneers, Eagles, we got LA and Detroit, and we got the Cowboys and Green Bay. And the lowest remaining seed left will face the Baltimore Ravens on the AFC side of things, and on the NFC side of things, they will face the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm gonna start it off with Firestone, man. What games are you looking forward to, and do you smell any upsets coming? Muted up over there, homie.
Man, I'm looking forward to that Miami Kansas City game, and not for like the typical reason most people do, because I think this is actually going to be a game where Miami might come in there and actually get KC, because yeah, it's cold, but this is the type of cold. Don't matter who you are, it's affecting you. It don't matter if KC's there or no, the Miami guy. It don't matter. This is -23. This is affecting everybody, and something Kansas City's already had a problem doing this year is catching the damn ball. And it's going to be even 10 times harder trying to catch a ball in that mess when the ball's harder. Your hands are numb. You already can't feel shit. So I just don't see where Kansas City is going to be able to attack them where it's snow. Just give it to your playmakers as Miami and let them run. People don't want to hit. It's cold. The bones hurt. The joints are stiff. You don't want to go out there. Let your fast guys go out there and run, blow this up, and let Kansas City sit there and try to figure out how they're going to play in this snow with you. So Kansas City is an upset for me. And man, I like the Lions in the NFC. So I can see the Lions putting a hurting on Green Bay as well.
RJ, talk to him.
Game I probably want to see is give me I'm gonna see this Texas and Browns game tomorrow, man. I think that I want to see CJ Stroud versus their defense, man, because bro, that Cleveland Brown defense for real, boy. They finna come into Houston. They finna get them boys a game. We gonna see what they with them Texas is about. The NFC, give me. I want to see what the Packers and that Cowboys game gonna be talking about, man. That's all. Every time them two franchises see each other, man, it's always a good game, man. when the Aaron Rodgers years, you know what I'm saying? Even to the Brett Favre years, you know. So let's see what it looked like in the playoffs.
Facts. Max, holla at him.
Man, look, man, I agree with RJ. I think the Miami Kansas City game is going to be the game. I think that could be a big upset. Bigger upset, I think the Bucks might actually beat the Eagles. And that's just because the Eagles been off lately, man. I mean, yeah, AJ Brown out. The Eagles have just been off lately. They haven't played anything like the Eagles of last year or earlier this season. So that's my big one right there.
Link, what to do, my boy?
Yeah, man, I like the Browns over the Texans, 1.5 point dog. For me, I feel like they're going to come out firing on all cylinders, and I'm actually going to go a different direction on that Dolphins Chief ones. Wind chill of -23 in that game, and there's going to be a lot of snow, and I feel like the speed that Miami has is not going to be as big of a factor because it's in the snow. I feel like it's going to be a little bit tougher to get that explosion, to kind of get that second step. So we'll see what happens, but I actually like the Chiefs at home in that one. And then just on a betting line kind of thing, Steelers plus 9.5 underdog. I kind of like them to cover against the Bills. I don't know if I'd pick them as an outright winner, but 9.5 seems like a lot of points against the Bills team that may not come out so hot because that's going to be a whiteout game. So we'll see what happens. But those are the three that I'm going to be looking for.
All right, man. We need Money Line Mills in the chat, man. Cause Money Line, he would talk. Hey, Link was talking that talk right there. Goddamn. He come up here every week and he turn us up and he, you know what I'm saying? He keep us posted about, you know, all of the, you know, lines or whatnot. And I'm gonna play me a parlay too. I'm probably gonna lose the hell out that shit, but I'm gonna I take me a little bit and put it to the side just to play with, just to have fun. Cause that's how I gotta look at it. Cause I lose some fucking money, I'd be pissed off like a mother. The playoff games, man. Max, and you actually called it. I think the Bucks are gonna upset the Eagles. I mean, Eagles right now, they are just, you know, things are, you know, falling off the rails with the Eagles, man. And they even talking about they may fire Sirianni after this game right here or whatever. And then you got the AJ Brown foolishness up out there. He's most definitely a diva, but bring that diva home to Tennessee. I can't help it. I mean, get his ass back to Tennessee. Come on home, AJ. You done went up there and you done, you know, played in the Super Bowl or whatever. You done got a taste of that Philly life or whatever, and you see that, you know, it ain't all what it's caked up to be. But man, I'm calling for the Bucks to upset the Eagles or whatnot. I think people don't give the Bucks defense much credit. I mean, the Bucks, they got some guys on defense that can handle some business. And offensively, I feel like, again, just like on the defensive side, they got some guys up over there or whatnot. I already know. Mike Evans, Godwin, or whatnot. And also Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield may not be, you know, the best quarterback in the NFL, but that motherfucker right there got an arm. And anybody who knows Philly know that secondary right there has been Swiss cheese. Everybody has been shredding up that secondary. You seen it last week with the Giants, fucking Tyrod Taylor out there having a field day against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I most definitely see an upset coming there. On the AFC side of things, I hope like hell the Browns, and I'm predicting the Browns are going to beat the ever-living fuck out of the Houston Texans. They are going to beat their ass so motherfucking bad, they going to think that Derek Carr, David Carr, whoever is back playing quarterback for them. That's how bad it's going to be. I mean, the Houston Texans, good Cinderella story, great Cinderella story. Love to see it. I hate to see it as a fucking Titan fan. Fuck them motherfuckers.
They talk too damn much.
Yeah, they fans talk too much. But I think they're gonna be. And they saw this. They already played the Browns earlier this season. Now, granted, it was the JV team up out there, and they JV team got handled how they supposed to get handled, unlike the Titans were able to do. But I think even with the starters being out there for the Houston Texans, the Browns are going to show them something in the playoffs.
That's good take.
Yeah.
Facts. You muted up. Oh well, I guess he muted on purpose, man. But
Yeah. What's up? Hold on.
Yeah, man. We're gonna see if you got anything else you wanted to add to it, man, about the playoffs.
Yeah, man. This probably gonna be one of the better playoffs that we've seen in a while, man. I just feel like there's a lot of even teams. There's no clear cut team coming out of each conference, in my opinion. I think that every team can get beat, including the Ravens and the 49ers. I think they can get beat. But at the same time, them my two picks though, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think the Ravens and 49ers will meet each other in the Super Bowl again, but we'll see what it is moving forward, man. It's gonna be a crazy playoffs, man, most definitely.
Facts. Firestone, you got anything you want to add to it?
No, man, just ready for the divisional round so we can start moving on with this head coaching search, bro. It's hard to have interest in this damn playoffs right now when we're not in it and we got so many damn holes and questions to be answered. I'm just ready to start getting some answers.
Nah, yeah, facts. You got to get some of them coaches up out of there so the Titans can interview them. But Max, you got anything you want to add to it?
No, man, Firestone pretty much said it. I just want the Texans to lose so that we can interview Slowick and get that over with. And I mean, I just want the teams to lose that I'm looking at their quarterback or their offensive coordinators like Lions and other, Bengals, whatever.
Facts. Link, how you feel about it, man?
I'm a football fan, but I'm a Titans fan first. It hurts another year not watching them in the playoffs, but we'll get through it. We'll all get through it together. So hang in there, Titans fans, and hey, here's to next year.
Yeah, man. Just, get on Twitter tomorrow. Like I said, the Texans is going to get their motherfucking asses whooped tomorrow. Just, get on Twitter and, just watch all of the tears of the Texans fans hit the floor. And Monday night, watch all the Eagles fans act a fucking fool and call for Siri on his head and call for AJ to be traded out of Philadelphia, calling him T.O. and all that old dumb ass shit. But we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up for tonight, fellas. Hey, Link, Matt, bro, thank y'all for coming on, man. You got anything you want to plug?
Man, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was an honor to be here. Love talking to you guys. Y'all got some great takes, and I love it. Hey, we ain't all got to agree on everything, but we speak our mind, and we get to the bottom of it. And at the end of the day, we're all Titans fans, and we're here for it together. So I really appreciate it, guys.
No, yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Fun conversation. You see us, goddamn, we agree, we disagree all the time, but at the same time, we sitting up here laughing at each other,
right.
Having a good time about it, man. It ain't nothing personal. It's all love at the end of the day, man. But
that's right.
Yeah, man. RJ, you got anything you want to say before we ride out?
Man, let's go get up out of here, man. Hey, hopefully these teams, hopefully the Lions lose, the Texans lose, man, and let's get going, man, to this offseason, y'all.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. Firestone, talk to him about them sponsors one more time, dog.
This episode is brought to you. This episode is brought to you by LionsDenBeerCollection.com. Make sure y'all go check out their products with their beard oils, their bombs, their growth pills, and everything that they got to keep your beard in a tip-top shape. You go to LionsDenBeerCollection.com. Use promo code Colosseum. Get 25% off your order. As well as this episode is brought to you by SunnySmilesCoffee.com. Premium freshly roasted coffee with many, many different flavors for y'all to check. Guaranteed freshness and free shipping on all your orders in the U.S. currently. So go to SunnySmilesCoffee.com and get some of the freshest coffee you ever had.
Yeah, man. Go get that beard on point. Go get you some coffee. Start your morning off right. And make sure that you head on over to the TitansColiseum.com. Sign up for our email list. Never miss a live show, press article, or breaking news. You must be on the email list to enter in future giveaways. So, hey, man, I really appreciate everybody coming in them comments tonight, lighting it up with us or whatever, man. It's been a great ass show tonight, fellas. I appreciate y'all so much. Everybody, Titan Nation, Be nice to one another, but at the same time, too, tighten the fuck up. Let's go.